Hi, this is Marsha.
And this is Kelly.
We are the 2U's of 2U's Fiber Adventures. Thanks for stopping by.
You'll hear about knitting, spinning, dyeing, crocheting, and just about anything else we can think of as a way to play with string.
We blog and post show notes at 2usfiberadventures.com.
And we invite you to join our 2U's Fiber Adventures group on Ravelry. I'm 100 Projects.
And I am Better in Motion.
We're both on Instagram and Ravelry, and we look forward to meeting you there.
Enjoy the episode. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Marsha. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Boxing Day.
Yes.
We're recording on Boxing Day.
Yep. Do you celebrate Boxing Day?
Well, how do you celebrate Boxing Day? I can tell you I'll tell you what I'm doing. And if I don't know if this is actually the proper way to celebrate Boxing Day, but we're going to gather, I think, at Kim's house and bring all the leftovers from Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and eat them.
Okay.
Now, I think, isn't Boxing Day where you actually boxed up all of the leftovers and gave them to the poor or something, if I got that right?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
I think of it as which I never do it. I always think of it, and this is not what Boxing Day really is, but I always think of it as the day that you get rid of all the boxes that were in your strewn about your living room as you open packages.
Yeah. Then it will probably be that will be my Boxing Day as well, because I have to get rid of all of the wrapping and stuff that's down in the. Mostly this is just going to be a recovery day. Honestly, I am exhausted. I'm so tired. I'm still full disclosure. I'm still in my pajamas and I'm having my second cup of coffee and I'm a wreck. I was a wreck yesterday.
We had a really quiet. I mean, I if I was tired, it would be for no good reason. Because we didn't go anywhere, do anything. Aunt Betty made a roast for Christmas Eve, and she, goes and does eye drops for an older woman, a 97-year-old woman. So she had to leave. She didn't stay for dinner. She just made us dinner, and then she went and did her job, and then came home. And then yesterday, Robert worked. He worked on Christmas, so she and I just had leftovers of the roast. She made a sandwich earlier, and then I made a sandwich later, and I just sat with my rear end in the divot on the couch and crocheted. So I'm sorry to make you, that must sound terrible. Marsha's complaining about being so tired. And here I am taunting her with my relaxing holiday.
Well, the thing is, we're in the middle of this pandemic, but I do have a small bubble, and my bubble came to dinner on
they expect
Christmas
things
Eve.
From you.
On Christmas Eve. Yes, there's expectations about how things, and you know how you were talking about Thanksgiving, how much work it was to make a meal for 3 people. There were 6 of us. Yeah, just 6 of us, just my little bubble. And I made the meatless dinner. It was very good. I made your Brussels sprouts and the NPR recipe with the Brussels sprouts and the squash. That was very good. And everybody brought something. So it was nice. But I made the Bûche de Noël, the cake that I always make every year. And I at one point, I made that on Christmas Eve day. Because I had everything else I made the day before, so I just it was ready to go. But I had to make the cake, and I did make 2 days before I made the meringue mushrooms. But then you have to make the cake, you have to make the filling, and you have to make the frosting. And I about halfway through this process, I thought, why did I do this to myself every year? Because I like making cakes, but I was like halfway through, I thought, I am so tired.
So may I make a suggestion? Make the Bûche de Noël like on December 10th or something. Like not for Christmas.
Oh, I see.
Like make it for Christmas, the Christmas season, but not for Christmas dinner or Christmas Eve dinner.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So you can still get the enjoyment because because you make it because you enjoy making it. But the timing of it means you can't enjoy it as much as you would if you were just doing it on a slow day in December. Although, Marsha, to be honest, do you have a slow day in December?
Trying to think. No, really, not really.
No.
Everybody's doing something.
Yeah.
Actually, though, it's funny because I'm ridiculous. And I know I'm ridiculous because as I said, I'm making this thing. I'm like, okay, why am I doing this? And then Christmas Day, I should just back up and say too, we would get together, the larger group of us, which is not happening because of the pandemic, but we would get together Christmas Eve, and then Christmas morning, we'd all gather, just the core group of family, would gather and do presents. And then we always go to my brother's for Christmas Day dinner. This year, I said, it makes no sense to get together in the morning to open packages. Let's just, since it's just this little tiny group of us, let's just open packages on Christmas Eve. And then we can all have the morning to ourselves and then gather at my brother's, which is for dinner, which is what we did, which was really nice because it was a lot more relaxing. But I'm hanging around on Christmas morning, and what am I looking at? Instagram photos of Bush Noels to figure out, like, I'm going to do this next year. What am I going to do? Anyway, so I'm ridiculous. I just know, but it's funny because the classic thing is it looks like a log, with some little branches coming off of it. And you put mushrooms and stuff on it. Anyway, I found some of these. I think they're so funny, but they're like a stump. Like, why does it have to be like a log? It can be a stump, and so it's like a stump, and then it has one of them I saw they make out of meringue. Do you know when you'll see like a tree trunk or a stump, and it'll have, I don't know if it's a mushroom or a fungus or a lichen or something, but it looks like little shelves kind of.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's a so fungus,
it had one. Yeah, and they had one that was like, like the stump, and it's like it's been cut off, and you can see the rings on the top of the cake, and then it has those little fungus things all over it, and and then I thought, like the fairies, because I have little plastic fairies, but the fairies could be like one's like reclining, sort of like do you remember Tom Selleck, when he was in Playgirl? There's one little elf that's sort of reclining like that. He could be reclining on the little fungus, I don't know. This is how I started thinking, even though I was already exhausted. But,
and it was already, you were preparing for next year.
Yeah.
So yes, so you must like it. You must enjoy it.
I do like it, but I do feel tired then the next day. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it was a nice holiday, and it continues. So we're going to be eating leftovers tonight. Anyway, so shall we just jump right in and
talk knitting
projects? Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's talk knitting. So, what you want to talk about your projects?
Sure. What I was doing yesterday as I sat in the butt-shaped divot on my couch. I have been obsessed with these octagons for the crochet blanket. And I think I'm obsessed with them because, you finish them quickly. Well, actually, they're not that quick. It takes about a day. I didn't literally sit all day and not move. So it doesn't take a day like that. But usually I get one done, crochet in the afternoon and into a little bit in the evening, and I finish one of the octagons. So they're quick, The blanket is a big long-term project, but anybody who's done one of these modular projects kind of knows it feels like a finish every time you finish a block.
Right.
And that is motivating, really motivating. And because I can finish one, I kind of feel like once I pick one up and start it, like I should finish it. It's really hard to put one down in the middle of working on it and then not finish it that day.
Well, I would say it's probably kind of fun too, because even though you're making the same square over and over again, you're changing the colors all around. So it's familiar, but different. There's the creative part is like figuring out what colors you want to just pull out of the bag.
And I'm still not as experienced a crocheter as someone who could just, I've made, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I have 8 and then 1 mostly finished. So almost 9 of them finished. And you'd think that, I would have begun to learn the pattern by now. The problem is I think I have learned the pattern and then I make a mistake because I don't look because I think I know. And so I've had to rip out a few times. So it is also fun because it's challenging. Like, do I have the right number of stitches? Stitch count in crochet totally eludes me. I think I'm putting in the right number of stitches. And then when in the next round, I suddenly find I don't have the right number of stitches that I need. It's easy to fudge. That's a good thing. It's easy to fudge if you know how many you're supposed to have to get them. But that's kind of a challenge. Like, do I get to the end of the little section and it completes in the right way without an extra stitch or a stitch too short? And so that's always kind of fun too. Like little victories every time every time it goes right. It's like, oh, yay, that worked. So that's fun. And then I have to change crochet hooks in the middle. And sometimes I forget to change my crochet hook. And then like, okay, now I got to go back and read. Some of them I haven't redone when I've done that. But, it's changing between 2 sizes of crochet hook. So that's fun. And then the other thing that's fun, like you said, is choosing the colors. But also, because the original pattern design is made to have every block the same, and it's made for the blocks to look like tiles. The colors in the pattern are not what I'm using. I've talked about it before, but it's a project by JenasaurusWake, and her project literally looks like all these different flowers all put together. And so I've been trying to make sure that I have the flowers in different sizes so that I like keep similar color values. For in one of them, the similar color values are all in a small part in the center. And then in another one, I keep those same color values going all the way out to the edge, so that you have these flower motifs that some of them look small and some of them look big. And then last night, I was really analyzing the picture on her website to be like, okay, I'm going to do one that really follows her design of color values, because I don't have the actual colors that she has. And so I was trying to do that, and that was kind of a challenge. So that's kind of fun to try to make everyone look, not just that it's different colors, but different parts of the motif are prominent.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So in each square or tile, are you trying to use all the colors?
No.
Okay.
So like I have the one that I'm looking at right now, I've used a red center, and then I surrounded it by purples, and then I have a turquoise, and then I have the red. And then that part, so it's mostly turquoise and red with a little bit of purple in it. And then that part is like the flower that kind of pops out at you. And then the rest of it I've done in sort of darker purples. And then a little bit of turquoise at the edge. So the darker purples kind of recede into the background. And what you're really noticing is the red and turquoise center part. And then I have another one where like the whole thing is mostly yellows and pinks. And so there isn't a center motif that pops out at you. It's like the whole thing is one big flower. And then different variations like along that same spectrum. So that I've got medium-sized flowers and full-size flowers and small flowers. And I have kind of a color scheme for each one, but it's not the same color scheme. It's not like I do the same color scheme on several of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm definitely repeating colors because I have, I bought mostly pinks and purple. I bought pinks and purples, and then I added in a couple of turquoises and a couple of greens because I thought they would make nice like leaves. And then I have kind of a brown leaning, that's backwards, a lavender leaning brown. It's called Heather.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh, that would make a nice edge. Because I first thought I was going to make all their edges the same. And then I didn't do that. But I've used that as edging on a few of them. So that I have a few of them with similar colors in the edging. And then I also bought a pack. So I got the pinks, the oranges, the purples, and then I've got the greens and the turquoises. And then I bought a pack of minis that it was called Warm Colors, I think. This is the Knit Picks Brava Worsted, and they had mini packs. And so I bought the mini pack that was the warm color. So I got some duplicates of my purples and pinks, but then I got other shades of purple and pink in small amounts. And I got in that pack, I also got some brown and some orange. I mean, basically all the warm colors.
Oh, so you buy these colors by not individual.
Well,
you bought them as packs?
Most of them I bought individually.
Oh,
the full-size skeins I bought individually. But as I was shopping, I saw that they had these mini packs.
Okay.
And they only had, I think they had like 3 different colorways of mini packs. Mm-hmm. And the one I bought, I got it because it kind of went along with the colors I already had instead of introducing something new. So I got some duplicates in the minis to my full-size skeins, but I also got some little bits of other shades. So like now I have like 3 shades of pink. You know, the 2 pinks I bought plus another 3 shades that came in the mini skeins. So it's been fun. You know, the mini skeins are going to run out sooner than my others. And I'm trying not to like throw all the mini skeins into one so that then the rest of them don't have all those colors.
Right.
So there's kind of a lot to think about in the color scheme of them. But then I also think to myself, well, you know, I think I'm going to make 20. I think it's going to be 4 by 5. I laid them out last night, and 4 across looks fine, but I think I'll have enough to make them go 4 across and 5 down. So it'll be a little longer than it is wide. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if I don't like the color scheme all that much on something I'm doing, I think, oh, this isn't quite what I thought. It's like, oh, well, you have lots more to make.
Well, and the other thing too is like as you might get them all done and then just rearrange them all. You know, you'll just keep.
Yeah. I don't have a specific arrangement in mind of them, but when I lay them out like on the table, I try not to put, 2 of them with yellow and orange together.
And remind me again how much, because I'm looking at your project page. How many yards of yarn do you have?
I don't remember how much I bought. It's a lot. The pattern.
Oh yeah, let me look at the
pattern calls for like 4,000 yards.
Yeah, 3,911 to 4,226 yards.
So I think I bought about 4,000 yards, and I might have. And then I bought the minis. And then once I bought the minis, I subtracted out some of the skeins that I had purchased. So I still think I have right around 4,000 yards. But I don't honestly remember for sure. But I knew I needed about 4,000.
Yeah. I'm actually, just side note, I'm looking at the pattern, the project, or the pattern page on Ravelry, and it says crochet terminology, both US and UK.
Yes.
Remember I learned that?
Yes. In fact, the color chart has the UK terminology on it. And so I had to cross off that and put the US terminology. The octagon is a little bit big to use the chart. There's sections where you have to do 20 of the same stitch. And it's kind of, I can look at the chart and see, oh, that's 5. And I can sometimes look at the chart and say, oh, that's 7 without having to like count them all. Just like look at them and group them in my head with my eyes. But when you start getting past 7 of the same stitch, it's like I can't see what that is without counting them. And if I'm going to sit and count the little marks on the chart, I might as well just use the written out pattern. So I haven't used the chart as much as I normally use crochet charts and knitting charts, just because it's too many stitches. The repeats are too many stitches for that to be, for me, for it to be any better than using the written directions. So it's kind of helpful to cross-check between them when I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. But to just use the chart, I'm not able to really do that. So, but anyway, it's been fun. That's a lot of talk about the same project, but it has been a lot of fun. I'm having a good time. So I need to make 20 of these octagons, and then once I get done with the 20 octagons, I'm going to have to make squares. So normally you make 16 octagons and you think you're finished. And then you have to make 9 squares to go in between the octagons. So if I make 20 octagons, I'll need to make another 3 squares, so 12 squares. And then you have to make triangles to go on the edge. 12 triangles. And then you have to make 4 small triangles to go on the corners. So you're going to think you're done when you've got the octagons done, but no, you have still a lot to do.
It's going to feel like you made a bush in a well.
Yes, exactly. But the next day, I'm probably going to look on Ravelry and see all the other things people did and say, oh, I could make another one. And look how I could do it.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, I think it's really pretty, and I think it's really fun. I'm enjoying seeing the pictures of it,
Yeah. Well, and I haven't been sharing it on Instagram. I'll need to share more pictures in the show notes this week, and also on my, in the Ravelry thread, and put some more pictures on my Ravelry project, because my niece, it's for her daughter, my grandniece, and I don't want my niece to see it. So I haven't been posting it anywhere that's public. Except I did put it in the episode art, when I publicized last week's episode, I put it in one of the squares. I thought, if I kind of mash these together so you can't tell really what they are unless you know, and then I put it in one of the small squares of my Instagram, she's never going to pay attention to this. So, yeah. So this has kind of been to the detriment of my other project.
Well, I was going to say, what else how about your sweater?
So
your pullover.
Yeah, I did get it out and I did work on it. So I could say I worked on it for this episode. I did a few more rounds at the bottom and then I tried it on and thought, okay, yeah, this is long enough. Now I'm ready to do the hem, the split hem. But before I do the split hem, I just put it on waste yarn and I picked up for the sleeves. And I haven't started knitting the sleeves yet. I've just picked up the stitches. But I need to wind another, I need to wind my second skein of the dark green yarn. It's Invictus yarn, Yak Luxe, and the color is Nevermore. Super pretty, dark, kind of blue-green, kind of blackish green, kind of like a crow. You know how that black on a bird sometimes looks greenish? I think that's why it's called, I would guess that's why it's called Nevermore. It's not quite as black as a crow, but it's that same black-green that you see in birds. So I'm going to start with that color on the top of the sleeves. And then I'm not going to match the stripes on the sleeves because it's a drop shoulder, so I don't think you could really do that.
Right.
But I am going to do some kind of striping on the sleeve. I just don't know exactly how. So that's probably something I'll work on today because I did want to get back. I wanted to get it back to a point where I can just pick it up and knit stockinette. So I have to find my needles, to find the needles for the the short needles for the sleeves, and wind a skein of yarn, and then get started. So, but I'm a little bit perplexed by looking at people's project page on this pattern. Because it definitely looks like a drop shoulder when you look at it, right? It's a pretty heavily drop shoulder. And when you look at maybe this one's not as, no, it is. I was going to say,
look at
maybe this one's not
pattern.
as drop shoulder as the fresh where I'm looking at my stripe pattern, but it is. Like if you look at the second picture in the project page, the one that's by Trin and Nellie, or you look at the BN 3108 with the stripes, you can really see where the drop shoulder is. I am making the second medium. Well, it's extra small, and medium. So it's actually the medium. I'm making the medium. It's a size 40. So that's positive ease for me, right?
Yeah.
That should be plenty of positive ease for me. But my shoulders are not that wide. I don't think I'm going to have that. I don't understand it. I don't think I'm going to have that drop shoulder. Now,
yeah, because I'm just now looking at all the projects, and they have very distinct drop shoulders.
Yeah. So now it may be because it's stockinette and it's rolled, right? And so my sleeve is rolled in like stockinette does, and so I can't really tell. But I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine that drop shoulder is going to be as far down the people's arms as on mine. So I don't know what I did wrong. I mean, that's my first thought. I did something wrong. Maybe I didn't do anything wrong, but anyway, I'm gonna put the sleeve. I'll start the sleeve probably today. So I'll have more information about that next time.
Yeah.
But it really does not look like it's going to drop very far.
Well, and honestly, looking at them, going deeper into a lot, not just the ones that are on the project page or the pattern page, but you start looking at other people's projects. Some of them, it doesn't drop that much, and others it drops quite a ways. So
yeah, so maybe it just has to do with how much ease you selected, and like my shoulders are broad. So that could be the other part of it.
And it could be, the yarn, like if it's something that's really drapey, then it might.
Well, that's true.
Drop more.
Because if the sleeves are heavy, it might pull that drop part down more. Well, we shall see.
Yes. To be continued.
Yes, to be continued. It's a cliffhanger. The mystery. Nancy Drew and the mystery of the drop shoulders. Pretty funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we'll see. So that's it's in the progress. It's not, I haven't made huge progress, but I have gotten past the hump of what am I going to do with the hem? Oh, I need to pick up for the sleeves. So I've done that. And now I just have to get my yarn wound and find the right size needles, the right length, of needles. I had talked about the dishcloths that I was making. They are all finished. I made 14 of them. By the time I got done, I had less than a walnut size ball of 2 of the yarns and none of the other 2 yarns. So I used all of those 4 skeins of Taki Cotton Classic. And then I shipped them all away. So
nice.
And Betty said, are we keeping any of these? Are any of these going in our drawer? I'm like, nope, I'm shipping them away. So I've got 3 still to put in the mail.
Good. Nice.
Yeah. So that's my projects. How about you?
Okay. I'm just going to say it. Holey Comfort, haven't done a thing. Okay. Moving on.
Just get it over with, Marsha. Rip off the Band-Aid. It's fine. You had Bush Noel.
No, it's fine. I don't feel guilty about it at all. Actually, we booked a house. We're going down to the Washington coast on Monday for Monday through Sunday.
Oh, nice.
And so I've already got my projects figured out what I'm going to bring. I'm going to bring the Holey Comfort and work on that. Anyway, well, I'll now talk about my projects. But I thought I'll be down there we may have some bad days with weather, which is good. Then I can just work on that sweater and just, yeah.
You'll be
so
held
anyway,
captive.
I'm going to bring that with me.
You'll be held
I'll be held
captive
captive
by the
yeah.
sweater.
I'm hoping for good weather, but we have the evenings and
you always get a lot of knitting done while you're there.
Yeah, I always get a lot done. So, yeah. So anyway, still working on, in fact, the socks that I'm making for myself using the Drops Fabel Print, and I've turned the heel and I'm about halfway through the gusset on the first sock. And let's see.
I like that yarn.
Yeah, it's like a lime green or apple green and a purpley pink and a deep purple and a little bit of orange in there.
I didn't go look at it last time when you were talking about it, or maybe you didn't have a picture up last time.
I don't think I had a picture up last time. I had to do it, but yeah. And then I finished another tea cozy, the one I was talking about, the red and green one that I was doing for Christmas. I finished it yesterday, Christmas Day, because as I said, I had the morning to myself. So I worked on that, and so it's all done, sewn together, and I made 2 pom-poms that go on the top. The one I'd made before, I just put 1 pom-pom, but the pattern shows 2. And I thought, I like that. Instead of having to pick red or green, I just put one of each. And so my idea is, because you put 2 on the top, and I have red and green, if you pretend that the spout of the teapot is the bow of the teapot, then my red pom-pom will be on the left, because my understanding is red means port side. So I'm going to put red port side on the left and green on the starboard. Yeah. So yeah, red on the port side and green on the starboard side.
Okay. I don't think I've ever heard a teapot described in quite that way, but that sounds good.
Yeah. So the spout's the bow and the handle is the stern. And then just to remind people too, the pattern I was using is the Nanny Meiers Tea Cozy by Amelia Carlson, which was published in Fiber Trends. And you corrected it, Kelly, in the last episode, that I actually called it Nancy Meiers.
Oh, yeah.
And it's actually Nanny Meiers. And in my defense, I don't know where the pattern is now, but it's I think they've done this intentionally so people can't copy the pattern. It's black ink on dark teal paper.
Oh, yeah. I have teal. Some of those patterns, yeah.
And I think that was probably done intentionally. And then it's the title of the pattern is like a script, and I just read it the wrong way. So it's and I think that's probably why they picked that color years ago, is so it was harder for people to copy the pattern. It makes it hard to read the pattern.
Yeah.
Just reading the pattern to figure out how many to cast on and what your next step is. It's challenging to read. So, but I bought it so long ago. I think it was before.
Well, pre-Ravelry.
We were just
right.
Pre-Ravelry, I think. Yeah. So, and then, my other project I'm working on is I finished a swatch for the T-shirt that Kim and I are both going to make, and her friend Sue. I think Sue's actually done with hers already, but it's called Walk Along by AnkeStrick, and it's I'm using the yarn that we bought down at the beach at String Theory Yarns. It's Little Fish Stitches, fingering weight, and it's like a navy blue and kind of a light blue and gray and kind of a cream. And so you need a contrasting yarn. Oh, I did talk about this in the last episode. I'm remembering. I did it by a skein of Lang yarns that I'm going to use for the neckline and the cuffs. So, but anyway, I've done my little swatch, and so I'm going to wash that, and I may cast that on too at the beach and work between the two sweaters. Okay, now if you
cast that on, you're going to be wanting to work on that instead of your other sweater.
Thanks, Mom.
I'm a buzzkill.
I know.
No,
anyway,
you don't.
Yes, but you're absolutely right.
Work on what you like. That's what I've been doing. I've been just making crochet octagons.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Who am I to talk?
Yes. Well, you're right. But anyway, so
Cool.
So that's all I'm working on right now. But I think I might have to take a break from tea cozies now and finish that sweater.
Yeah.
So that's it for me for projects.
Okay. Well, Marsha, it sounds like you have some things to work on. But we also have some things that we've been doing on the podcast that we wanted to update people on. So first of all, we have an ongoing giveaway, paper planning and plotting. Have you been thinking about this? I haven't posted an entry. I'm thinking about posting an entry in it. And then I thought, well, maybe we'll just talk about it in the podcast. But have you been thinking about what you do with paper? And we talked a little bit last time.
We talked about it before. The only thing I've been thinking about is actually using my phone, like switching, because it is true. Like when I go to get my haircut, I have to carry my calendar with me, because I
well, the good
can't
thing,
remember
the good
by
thing,
the time I get home.
If you used your phone calendar, then I could send you an invitation for when we're going to record, and then that would be in there too. You know how we text back and forth? When do you want to record? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. When's good for you? I don't know when's good for you.
Well, and we
you can just see if it's good for me, and you could say, okay, this is good for me, and it looks like Kelly has a space. Here's an invitation, or I could do the same thing. Yeah. So. Okay, well, we will talk more about this. It's been interesting reading what people are saying in the thread and getting some good ideas. So we'll definitely talk more about this in a future episode. And just so you know, that future episode will be the episode that comes out around January 24th. So you'll have, let's say, until January 20th to enter. So enter by January 20th. That's the deadline. That gives people time to put something in and for us to be ready to talk about it. Not at our next episode, but the one after that. Yeah. And what we're giving away, 2 things. So one of them is the 2 Sheeps calendar. And if you would like to buy a 2 Sheeps calendar, their website is 2sheeps.com. And they're having a sale right now for 2021. If you go to their website, they have a sale. I think it's 21% off. I don't see it on the website. Maybe they just have announced it in Instagram. 21% off if you use the coupon code YAY2021. So it's like 2020 is over. Thank goodness. And I did put this in the show note, or not in the show notes, in the Ravelry group when they let me know about it. I put this the information in the Ravelry group about their coupon code. But you can also win one of these calendars in our giveaway. And what the calendar is every month it has a different picture of a yummy looking skein of yarn, and then they have on their website that month, they will open up sales of that yarn. The 2 Sheeps website will open up sales of that yarn. And so it'll be available starting the first of whatever the month is and until it's gone. So they've contracted with indie dyers to make yarn available that goes with this calendar. So there's that. It's a wall calendar, normal size spiral bound wall calendar. And then the other part of the prizes are a pack of 3 field notes. You may be already familiar with field notes. They're a company that makes these little notebooks that are reminiscent of the notebooks that people in agriculture, farmers, I guess, used to use, and maybe used to get them at the seed company or something. There's a lot of information on their website about the inspiration for these notepads and their company. But this particular, so they work with all kinds of artisans to create notepads with, artisan paper and printers doing the cover, and then they put them all together and sell them in packs of 3. Well, pandemic buying, hashtag pandemic buying. I ordered a subscription of these. So every 3 months I get a package of notepads. So they come in a pack of 3 and I get 2, my subscription is 2 3-packs. So I got 2 of these 3-packs. I'm using one and I'm giving one away. And this one is called Snowy Evening, and they're actually gorgeous. They're this gray blue color with the white snowflake on it. And they're all unique. Every notepad 99,999 unique 48-page memo books, it says. The 3-pack that I'm holding here is notepad number 87,774 of 99,999. So limited edition. And there's 2 more that I can't see the number of because it's inside the package. Anyway, I thought it was when I saw the subscription, I don't subscribe to too many things. Like I don't have, I've had a couple of yarn subscriptions and fiber subscriptions, and they were fun, but I stopped because, stuff piles up after a while.
Yeah.
And when I saw this, I just couldn't resist the subscription of the Field Notes little memo books. So by the end of the year, I'll have way more memo books than I need. So I thought I'd give some away to a listener.
Yeah, it'll be a lot.
Yeah.
Make a lot of notes.
Well, and the first one I got was they actually, as a bonus, gave us 3-packs. So right away, I had 9 little notebooks, like the very first quarter. So I was able to give those. Those were really cool, and I ended up giving one of the 3-packs to one of my nieces and one of the 3-packs to another niece, and then I kept one of the 3-packs. So it's just kind of a fun, you want some excitement during a pandemic. You want packages to arrive.
I know.
So anyway, that's our giveaway. The one lucky winner will win both of those things for telling us all about paper planning and plotting. How do they use their calendar? How do they keep their plots and plans straight? Are they paper or digital? What kind of calendar notebook do they use? Do they use Ravelry or a notebook for their knitting projects? So I've put up a thread in the Ravelry group, but you can also enter by sending a comment from our website using the contact us at, on our website, tousefiberadventures.com, or sending an email. A couple of people have done that, tousefiber.com. And we'll be drawing the winner on January 20th, and we'll put the response out on our episode that will be about January 25th. Oh, and the other thing you can do, no one has taken me up on this, send us an audio response. So, just tell us in your own voice, and we'll play you on the episode.
And our next one?
Yeah, we have a new giveaway this week. 2 new giveaways this week. One is patron appreciation. So we have a Patreon account, Marsha and I, patreon.com/2use. And we have, as of the moment, we have 28 patrons as of December 1st. And we just wanted to take this opportunity to thank those patrons. It's just so nice of them to so generously help us to be able to have the hosting for the podcast and help us be able to purchase prizes and support fiber artists that we, that we like, that we want to share, share things of. It's just really, really humbling to have people, subscribed.
It is, yeah.
And supporting us that way. So I just wanted to make sure that we thanked them all. I'm not going to list all your names because I don't know that that's okay with all of you. But just know that if you are a Patreon supporter, we really appreciate you. We are just really happy to have you as patrons. And we've had a total of 37 patrons over the time that we've been having our Patreon account. We started in September 2018, so a little over 2 years. We've had a total of 37 patrons, and those of you who were patrons at one time and are no longer, also want to give a big thanks and shout out to you. It's really nice of you to have contributed to us over that time. And do you know how Patreon works, Marsha?
I do, because we talked about it. But why don't you let everybody know how it works, so in case they're not familiar with it.
Okay, yeah. So the website, patreon.com/2U's, TWOEWES. That's our website. And the way Patreon works is content creators of all kinds have accounts, and then you can support them, sign up to become a patron. So you have a monthly patronage. And so we have different tiers. We have the Adventure Seeker tier, which is $3 a month. The Daring Adventurer tier, which is $5 a month. Intrepid Adventurer tier, which is $10 a month. And the Ultimate Adventurer tier, which is $20 a month. Or you can even just select an amount different from that you want to contribute. You can do it long term, or you can just come on and contribute and then turn your subscription off after you've contributed the amount that you wanted to contribute. So there's a lot of flexibility there. What we don't do, what a lot of people have, is something special for their patrons where they, maybe only do a podcast that their patrons can see, or they do a live event for their patrons. And we don't do that. It's more like public radio. The people who are contributing so that everyone in our community can benefit from what we do. But we do have a drawing, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to draw from our patrons. And why don't you tell them what they're going to win, Marsha?
Well, we've been sort of thinking about the fact that we can't go anywhere. So we're reliving our travels. And I went and pulled out of my travel stash. It's a kit for a hat. It's black with a contrasting color of purple. And I got this in Iceland. And I bought this at the, hang on a second, because I need to say the correct name. It's Uppspinnini Mill, and it's enough for a hat. And so that's what we're going to give away.
All right.
It's Icelandic wool. And as I say, we visited the mill, and lovely woman there who owns it. And I'll put a link we can put a link in the show notes too to her website. And she has a nice blog on there. And
we'll also put a link to your Iceland, the episode, the dispatch.
Oh, right.
So that if anyone is new and hasn't heard the dispatch from last January when Marsha was in Iceland, they can actually go back and listen to that. Or if you want to just relive Marsha's adventure and dream about traveling to Iceland.
I know. I've been thinking so much about Iceland too recently. I'm really not sure why. I guess because it's winter and it was, we were there in the winter and it was snowy and everything. But go back and listen to those 2 episodes if you want. But anyway, so that's the prize.
All right.
So let's draw our name.
Okay. So I've put all the list of all of the patrons in a list, and I did a random number generator. And the winner is Barbara G. So if your name is Barbara and your last name starts with G and you're one of our patrons, you are a winner.
Yay.
Yeah. So contact me. Actually, contact Marsha. Either through 2Us at 2usfiberadventures.com or through Ravelry. Marsha is Better in Motion. And get in touch with us so we can get your address and we can send you your prize. Congratulations, Barbara. And thank you so much for being a patron. She's been a patron since January of 2019.
Okay.
So since you went to Iceland.
Well, no, actually, no.
Oh, no, you went to Iceland in 2020.
Yes, this has been such a long year, Kelly. It feels like I went 2 years ago. Yeah, no, I was there last January 17th, I think I know I don't remember, but anyway, yeah.
All right.
So yes, contact me and I will get this in the mail to you.
All right. Very good. And thank you again to all the patrons. Really appreciate your support over the years. And then we also have a Winter Weave Along giveaway. And I just wanted to do this giveaway. We've had so much chat in the chat thread that I thought it would be fun to do this giveaway. And of course, Marsha, one of our favorite people to promote on the podcast is Sally Fox.
Right.
We have talked about her quite a bit. Anyway, she has in her shop, she has some interesting yarns. And I thought it would be fun to to give away a cone of her yarn. So let me just talk about the yarns that she has that are the choices. So one is a 18.2 cotton, and it's so it would be 7,560 yards per pound. That's a pretty fine. 18.2 is pretty fine. The higher the number, the 18, the higher that number, the finer the cotton is. So 18.2 is a pretty fine cotton. She has green. She has a pure green, and then she has one called G25. She has a limited supply, and that's why I wanted to get one of these prizes right away. She also has a Pima cotton off-white in that same grist. She has a little thicker yarn, a 10.2, which is 4,200 yards per pound, and she has 3 colors of that, and then white. She has a Sierra Sienna 15% streak available. She has an oatmeal, which is a real light brown color, and then she has one called that's just brown cotton. And then she also has upland bright white. So she has 3 of her colored cottons and then the white cotton in that. And then she also has another choice that someone might be interested in is a cotton chenille yarn. And it's 1,000 yards per pound, and it comes in green or brown. So those are all of the yarns, coned cotton yarns that are available on her website. And so the winner of this prize will need to contact me ASAP. If I don't hear from you fairly soon, I'll get in touch because I want to make sure that she doesn't totally sell out. Cotton is a seasonal product. You know, I don't think of yarn as being seasonal, but it is, right? You grow it.
Yeah.
Then you ship it off to be processed. And so her existing yarn stock is small, and she's having more made. So I did a random number generator and from the Winter Weave Along chat thread, and it's number 129. Nan for now. Yeah. Exciting. Nancy.
Yeah.
So Nan for now, Nancy, congratulations, and contact me on Ravelry or through email, and I'll find out which one of those cones I should have sent to you.
And we should just reiterate too, Kelly, that the contest is still going on. The Winter Weave Along is still going on. This is just something to do in the middle of to brighten people's winter days, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. So if do continue to participate because we'll have another drawing at the end of the Winter Weave Along.
Yeah, it goes until March 31st, so you have plenty of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like Marsha said, this is just a little pick us up.
Yes. To get us through these dark days of winter.
Yes. Yes, and it's starting to get light again now, so that's great.
I know. I heard that it's 3 minutes a day. Well, in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know how it is in the depending on where you are from the equator.
It changes. It changes throughout the year, depending on whether you're closer to the solstice or closer to the equinox. Okay, I'm going to say something very mathy.
Okay.
It's not. It might.
Let me get a piece of paper and my pen so I can write this down.
Yeah, it's 3 minutes a day sounds about right for right now, but it's not 3 minutes a day in a linear way. Like if it was every day 3 minutes a day, that would be a linear, but it's not linear. It's a sine curve.
Right.
So, yeah.
I had such hope that I was going to get 3 minutes. Well, right now I get 3 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, it gets faster. Right now, right now it's slow. The light is slowly increasing, and then at the equinox, it's changing really fast. So you'll actually be gaining light faster as we go along.
Oh, okay.
So isn't that good news?
Yeah, that's good news.
Yeah. So anyway, and my chickens are laying again. How do they know? Like they stopped laying and nobody was laying, like the week I mean, they've slowed way down, but we would get like an egg. One of them would one of them would lay every couple of days. And then the closer we got, into December, the further we got into December, they really stopped. So the first part of December, they weren't laying at all. And then we had the solstice, and like 2 days later, there was an egg. Like they know that there's more light, and now they're starting to lay again. Kind of amazing.
Because it's not a perceptible, like to us, it's not a perceptible amount of more light. Right. So it's a mystery. Yeah.
No, and it is. It's really interesting. They seem to know. I thought it was the cold at first, but it's not. It doesn't have so much to do with the cold as it does to do with the amount of light. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'm going to go just touch back on about Sally Fox and the yarn. I did buy myself a little Christmas gift, and on her website she has socks for sale.
Oh yeah. And
Fox Fiber Colorganic socks, and it's a 3-pack. And let me just click on it here. When I ordered it, the only thing that was available, and I'm just checking now, and it is it says select your color combination, and the only thing that was available was 2 brown and 1 green. And it does say on the band that they were packed in that the color will. Oh no, I'm sorry. Is it on the band? No, I'm sorry. It's on the website. It says that as you wash them, the color is going to change, and the color will become more pronounced. And I will say, in the 2-pack, there didn't seem to be much difference between the brown and the green. Not as significant that you could even really tell that one was brown and one was green. Oh, so it'll be interesting to see as I wash them how they change. But they're nice. I like them. I've been wearing them. I've worn 2 pairs so far. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Check those out if you want to just go buy socks too.
Yeah. And I will put her Instagram link to her Instagram in our show notes, because she has, over the past couple of months, been using Instagram for pretty long form blog posts of the history of her work with cotton. And she doesn't really have a shop because she's growing cotton to supply weavers with yarn, or people with socks, or spinners with cotton fiber or wool. She basically has the shop to support her breeding efforts. I mean, her work is as a cotton breeder and breeding for all these different colors. And so anyways, been very interesting reading all of her posts. I don't know what she's planning to do. I think it would be great if they were all, made into a book or something. It would be super interesting. Her work started, it started quite a long time ago. And then, she's worked with mills in Japan, fabric makers in Japan. She's really had a very, very interesting road. This journey that she's been on to breed these different varieties of cotton in green and brown, and just beautiful pictures, very interesting content. I highly recommend her Instagram account.
So I'm looking at our notes. I think we've covered everything, Kelly.
Just one last thing. I just wanted to remind everyone of the knit along for Amy. Remembering Our Amy with the Caps for Kids Cal is a thread on her local Ravelry group, and I have a link to it in our show notes. If you are making hats in remembrance of Amy, donating them to any children's charity, be sure to pop into their thread and put a picture of your hat before you donate it. I think that's a really nice tribute that they're doing for Amy. And so anybody who wants to participate in that, you can get the link in our show notes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's it.
Yeah. On to January.
Yes.
Big party plans, Marsha, for New Year's Eve?
No, well, we'll be down at the beach.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So I'm hoping just to be walking on the beach New Year's Eve. Well, not at night, but New Year's Eve day and New Year's Day.
So no big giant cooking.
No.
Dishes, linens.
No. Paper napkins.
Perfect. That sounds perfect.
Now knowing me, I will end up cooking something.
You'll do something.
I'll do
you
something,
like to cook,
but yeah,
but it won't be
it's gonna
a project.
It'd just be three. It'd just be three of us and two dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think everybody's tired.
Yeah,
honestly, I don't know why we're so tired. I think we're just getting old.
Well,
I just think I'm getting old. That's the truth.
And the thing I forget about where you live and what it's like is like I when I was teaching, I would go out every morning. And I would sit in the trailer, and the trailer was cold when I first got in there. And I'd turn on the space heater, if I went out before the sun got to a certain point. But at about 9:30, quarter to 10, the sun would start streaming through the windows. Mm-hmm. We have quite sunny days, even when they're cold. And so the sun would be streaming through the windows, and I'd be sitting in the front windows of the trailer, just like soaking in that sun. And I really felt like that was powering me. Yeah. Like I'm solar powered and that, that little patch of sun that I sat in almost for most of the day until about 2:30, I had a little patch of sun that I sat in the trailer, and that made all the difference. Yeah. I mean, it really did. There were some days where I had to work in the house and we have little patches of sun in the house too, but it's a lot harder to find one where I could actually sit and do my work. Yeah. And it just made all the difference to sit in that little patch of sun. And I forget, I mean, not only do you have all the rain, but you also have much shorter days than I have. I mean, you're just far enough north of me that your days really are short.
Yeah, it's dark at 4:30.
Yeah.
But that's nothing compared to like Iceland. When we went to Iceland, I mean, the sun didn't come up till like 11 o'clock.
Right.
And it was dark at 2:30 or 3.
But
I might be exaggerating.
I do think that, that has to have an impact.
I think it does have an impact. And I think I never... not to dwell on my age or anything, but I when I was younger, it didn't really bother me, the rain and the long, the short days. I find now as I'm getting older, it is affecting me differently. Yeah. And I think too, holiday. Yeah. And I also think this year is just such a difficult year. We're in a pandemic. Yeah. I mean, it's like that's a once 100-year event, right? And, while I don't have some of the worries that other people may be having, like educating children at home or trying to do your job at home with small children
or being unemployed.
Being unemployed. I have a lot of things to be grateful for and a lot of things that I are not, that I'm not having to have a lot of worry about, but still I'm worried, I'm worried about people. Yeah. And so I think, that's all sort of weighing on us. And the other thing I would say about the holidays, and not to be Debbie Downer, but when you were a little kid, it was just so exciting. I often wonder because my mom and dad were always seemed excited about the holidays, but now I'm kind of wondering, God, were they feeling the same way I was? But when you have children around, but I don't have small children, and Ben's too young to have children, so I'm in that middle ground of. My child's not really a child anymore, but no I don't have any grandchildren, and then no nieces and nephews. Yeah, so and I think that's what makes Christmas really fun as kids. And,
that is true. Yeah,
and so it was a very nice holiday, but I think it's just different now with just the family situation, and then also this is a very difficult year. Yeah. For everybody around the world. Yeah, super difficult. So. Finding little positive things. So like it's icky today, but I'm going out to walk.
Oh, good for you.
Even going in the rain is kind of nice. You know? I don't mind it. So yeah, I'm going to make myself go out for a walk today. So, yeah. A lot to be grateful for.
Oh, yeah.
In walking in the rain.
Yeah. So, well, maybe I should put down my crocheting and go out and walk too.
Wait, let that divot in the couch come back to life.
Yes. Give it a break so it can rise back up.
Your couch's like, oh my God, get off me.
Right. Exactly.
Go outside.
Yes. All right.
Anyway. All right. We will talk in 2 weeks.
Yes. All right.
Bye-bye. Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening. To subscribe to the podcast, visit 2usfiberadventures.com.
Join us on our adventures on Ravelry and Instagram. I am Better in Motion, and Kelly is 100 Projects.
Until next time, we're the 2 U's
doing our part for World Fleece.